Hello and welcome to the trade setup. In this video we are looking at ARM holdings. It is time for another update, and on this chart this yellow interpretation has just become significantly less likely since last week, when it has broken internal levels of support for direct continuation to higher prices within the idea of an impulse in this structure. Since that has happened, we have to make the consideration that most likely we are not building an actual wave tree, which is the yellow interpretation, and that rather this would be building a wave C to the upside, which is probably within the white scenario instead. Now, I'm not going to be fully exclusive of this yellow scenario where this structure is developing into a larger wave tree, but I'm going to caution that we shouldn't have that expectation, that at this point it is rather likely that this structure will be building an ending diagonal. And this doesn't mean we cannot expect continuation to higher prices still, but it does mean that the pattern, the internal structure, is going to be significantly less reliable. So what am I talking about? Well, I'm looking at this to have instead been following the idea of an ABC pattern, as opposed to the previous video where we have been tracking the blue scenario in the idea of an impulse. So I would have this as a wave 1 in something like an ABC structure. This would still be a wave 2, and now I would be tracking a wave 3 to the upside. This would have to be within the white scenario, because in the yellow scenario the wave 1 has been a 5-wave pattern, and that means that the wave 3 would need to be an impulse. Since this can no longer be an impulse, this can no longer be a wave 3 either. Now, internally within this structure, I actually have a couple of options. And firstly, this is my wave A. I could consider the wave B to have bottomed in a few different places actually. So it could have actually bottomed here, it could have bottomed here, it could be even a triangle. I wouldn't try to overthink these expectations, and I would focus rather on the internal structure within this as a wave C, as I would probably prefer this wave 4, if it has bottomed indeed, to be a match for this as a wave 2. In this interpretation, I would actually really not need any further extensions within this as a wave 4. I'm quite satisfied with the structure it has built. I can identify within the smaller time frame an ABC structure in this area. Proportions look quite favorable for that. And I would even be able to identify an initial 5-wave move to the upside. So this opens a trade setup opportunity for us. So we could be looking to build something like a larger ABC structure that would take us to higher prices. This structure doesn't need to be an actual ABC, but I decided to track it as such to manage our expectations, since this wave 5 in blue is expected to build an ABC structure. So it could be that the wave A is building a 5-wave move to the upside itself, then we get a larger wave A, we get a wave B, and then a wave C to complete this as a wave 5. Totally acceptable. But then the wave A of the wave 5 in blue, doesn't need to build a 5-wave pattern. It could be building a zigzag, in which case, yeah, I would expect the next wave to the upside to complete the wave A of the wave 5, and I would expect the wave B and the wave C to complete the entire structure. Now, to be clear, this is not the only interpretation possible for this larger structure. We could be looking at something potentially even more bullish. But until I get the evidence, since we have gotten the sustained break, we aren't looking to build an impulse anymore. I am pacing my expectations. I am approaching this slowly, level by level, and I'm looking for the available and clear opportunities, and that brings me to the internal structure, where again we have an initial 5-wave move to the upside, which allows me to look for a trade setup within a wave B. I'm watching the levels of support here in white between $207.5 down to $198.6, and as long as we do not get a sustained break below this last level of support, I would still prefer to extend to higher prices within at least one more high. If it does get that break, well, there is a good chance we will extend even further. There is a good chance we would get a substantial reset within this as a wave 4, and there is also the fact that the structure would once again become quite unpredictable. Now, within this correction, what I am tracking is a 3-wave pattern within this as a wave B. I could consider this to be something like an ABC movement to the downside. I am highlighting here the 61.8% retracement, which is in line with this structural support level. The bulls really stepped in at this level. It formed a local low before extending quite substantially to new all-time highs within this structure. So I'm watching this level. I'm watching this one down to $200, but I would actually like to form a bottom within this area. So as I'm recording this video, the bottom might be in. Now, I'm not going to make any assumptions. The area of support does still have some room, and I'm looking for the reversal, once again, ideally against the $198.6 level, the 78.6% retracement. And for now, these are the levels. This is the trade setup. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and if you enjoy the content and want to support it directly, check out the channel membership. And other than that, let me know what else you would like me to cover, and I'll do my best to do that in the days and weeks ahead. And until then, I wish you a nice day, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye bye.